wouldn't say let go of those expectations, but it does not make sense to me. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Gloria Kings. Thank you so much for stopping by. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the expectations versus the reality of finding an apartment in Istanbul, Turkey. So I recently uploaded a vlog. I'm going to link it up here or in the description box below, where I spoke about looking for an apartment and getting a new apartment and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys what you expect, what you might be expecting, and what the reality of looking for an apartment in Istanbul, Turkey is. If you're someone coming to Turkey or you're planning on moving to Turkey as a foreigner, finding an apartment in Turkey, stay tuned and keep on watching. When looking for an apartment in Istanbul, sometimes you might be lucky, sometimes you might just be what the hell is going on. But at the end of the day, you would always find an apartment. Sometimes it might not be what you want, or sometimes it might be what you want or what you need. Istanbul is developing pretty okay, and you think, okay, you're going to get modern houses, you know, nice modern houses at affordable prices in good location, or maybe furnished houses. For some of you who, I have a friend who just recently came here. She studied in the UK previously. Her experience in the UK and her experience in Turkey are two exactly opposite things. Everything was just so weird for her. I think that was what made me want to do this video. For those of you coming from other countries, maybe from the UK or from somewhere else where things might be easier when it comes to getting an apartment, and what you might be expecting when you think I'm coming to Turkey and I need to get an apartment, what you might be thinking you would expect while renting an apartment for a year. Another expectation is, some people think that when they come to Turkey, they can just say, oh, I like your house, can I view it? And after you view it, they just agree straight up and you pay for the house and the house is yours. If any of the things I listed are part of your expectations, I wouldn't say let go of those expectations, but hopefully you do not experience the struggle of looking for an apartment in Turkey as a foreigner. My experiences with finding apartments in Turkey, sometimes I just block out the negative aspect or the difficult aspect when it comes to looking for an apartment, because at the end of the day, I always get what I initially wanted. So it's just like, okay, I'm just going to ignore all the stress I went through. But it sometimes can be stressful because you have to go to different MLAC's office, you have to text different MLAC's on Sahibiden. Sometimes they reply you, sometimes they just tell you they don't give to foreigners, sometimes they just tell you the owner doesn't give to Nigerians. So sometimes these things actually limit you from wanting to actually continue looking for an apartment. This is just going to lead me to sharing the realities of what it's like looking for an apartment currently in Istanbul. If you are moving to Istanbul thinking you're going to get like a modern apartment, the ones with, you know, nice smart home probably, or something that has a nice interior, clean bathroom, a new apartment in an apartment complex, you can find it. Definitely you can find it, but make sure your budget is high, because some of these apartments in good locations in Istanbul, they can be quite expensive. And when I say something is expensive, I'm not speaking based off of the dollar exchange. Maybe it might be $1,000 for you, but right now $1,000 can be almost 15,000 Turkish lira. So imagine paying 15,000 Turkish lira every month. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. If you live in Turkey, it doesn't make sense, except maybe you might have the money. If you have the money, of course, do what you want to do, but I'm talking based off of like student life and, you know, just young adults trying to figure themselves out. Paying $1,000 in Turkey for an apartment, I don't think is what you want to do. For a 1+1 rather. I'm not talking about 3+1 or 2+1, I'm talking about 1+1. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Another thing is the location of these houses. Look, sometimes Turkish apartments and residents are usually located away from like the main city area, because in the main city areas they have more of the older buildings and older apartments. So sometimes these apartments with the nice interior and nice houses, the modern houses might be located a little bit far from the city area, but not all of them, but most of them. Sometimes the more affordable ones are far away from the city area. I think those are the major points to know about like the apartment type. And also, yes, talking about apartment types, there are different types of apartments in Turkey. According to how I call it, if you have not seen my how to find an apartment video, please check it out, and I'm pretty sure that would help you. But like, if you have not seen it, there are two types of apartments how I see them. The first one is Turkish apartments. I call them Turkish apartments. They're just the normal houses, the normal apartments with like, they're low, about 3 to 4 floors, and not so high. They don't have like the security a residents might have, or a condo. I don't know, do you guys call it condos? Please let me know, because I don't know what do you guys call them, the apartments inside an apartment complex building. So those are the two types of apartments. And then the Turkish apartments, which might be older or new, you can find there are new ones, but the older ones are more affordable sometimes, most of the time. But depending on how you like your lifestyle, or depending on your lifestyle, you might not enjoy living there, because sometimes your neighbors might stress the living daylight out of you. I've heard stories, I've seen people experience these things, their neighbors stressing them out sometimes as they talk to the landlord to tell them to move out and all of that. So sometimes it can be stressful. So those are the two types of apartments I can tell you about. Another stress with finding an apartment in Turkey as a foreigner, or in Istanbul as a foreigner, is the house owners wanting 6 months to a year rent upfront. Mind you, when I came to Turkey, usually, or in Turkey, you're supposed to collect 1 month rent. So how it works is 1 month rent, 2 months deposit, and 1 commission fee to the agent if you find your apartment with an agent. So that's basically you holding 4 months the price of the rent if you're planning to rent an apartment and pay for a month. Let's say, for example, if your apartment rent is 10,000 Turkish lira. I'm giving an example. If your apartment is 10,000 Turkish lira, if you want to rent it for a year, you pay for a month. So they ask you for 1 month, which is 10,000, and it's compulsory to give 2 months deposit. This is if you are going to be living in like an apartment complex. Usually they ask for 1 month's rent, 2 months deposit, the worth of the rent, so that's 30,000 plus the agent fee if you find your apartment using an agent. So plus the agent fee, that's 40,000. These are some of the things you should look at. So imagine actually having to pay 10,000 for rent and then paying 40,000 once, but then they actually want you to pay 6 months. So that's almost 100k, because you're paying almost 90,000. 6 months plus the 2 extra months for deposit plus your rent, that's 90,000. That does not make sense. Apparently now, as a student, it's even more difficult to get an apartment because they feel students cannot pay. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I go on Sahibiden, I see the prices of your apartment and I send you a message, do you think I'm not able to pay for this apartment before sending you the messages? And one thing about Turkey is you would always find a more affordable apartment regardless of where you are. Like maybe if you are in a particular location and you're looking for an apartment and they're too expensive, if you check another location, you're going to see a more affordable apartment that is still good. It just depends on where, on the location you're searching for your apartment. The next point I'm going to say is the reality is sometimes some house owners do not want to give to foreigners. They just tell you house owner doesn't give to foreigner. There was a time I messaged this agent on Sahibiden and I asked her for the apartment and she was like, oh sorry, this apartment is not suitable for foreigners. What do you mean it's not suitable for foreigners? I had to ask her, what do you mean it's not suitable for foreigners? Where do you guys expect foreigners to live? Because initially before then I had messaged like 6 agents and all of them are telling me they don't give to foreigners, it's not suitable for foreigners. And you just wonder, where do these people expect foreigners to live if you're refusing to give your apartments to foreigners? It's just ridiculous, honestly. Another thing that I recently realized that they do now, I don't know, I think it's based on the location, because I changed my location from where I used to stay and I now live in a different area, but I've heard of it even before moving to this area. I've heard of this where they ask for a Turkish guarantor. So a Turkish guarantor is basically someone who can stand for you, that okay, you can pay your bills, and also someone who they can hold accountable in case you don't pay your bills. So mostly, not everybody would be willing to stand as a Turkish guarantor for strangers. Imagine a student who just came to Turkey and is looking for an apartment, and they're asking you for a Turkish guarantor. How am I supposed to find a Turkish guarantor when I just got into your country and I don't know anybody? Make that make sense? It does not make sense to me. I understand where they're coming from because they want security of their apartment and all of that good stuff, but like, just imagine a new person coming to a country and you expect the person to have a Turkish guarantor when they just moved into the country. Do you understand? Like, I do not understand the logic behind that. Another reality of renting an apartment in Istanbul, Turkey is there are two types. You can rent a furnished or unfurnished. So for the furnished one, the hack is, if you get a furnished apartment, is more expensive. Let's say you in a building, in an apartment complex, if you get a furnished apartment, the rent can be 4,300. And then if you get an empty apartment, the rent can be 3,000. Usually what I advise people to do is, if you're going to be here for more than 2 years, just get your own properties, because it's going to save cost in the long run. Because wherever you move to, you can pack your properties with you and move to that apartment. Most times they rent out unfurnished apartments or empty apartments, so you just have your properties with you and you take it along with you, because that will be way cost effective. And you only rent furnished apartments if you're someone who has the money, then cool, that's great. But sometimes some of these furnitures might not be in good condition and you don't know who has slept on it. You don't know if they have bed bugs, if they have done some atrocities on the bed, and you want to, I'm not saying anything, but I just suggest you buy yours and know that okay, this is your own. But anyways, if you do not have the money to buy brand new ones, there are second-hand stores that also sell like good quality second-hand furnitures where you can also get them. You can check Sahibiden for properties as well. So yeah, this is how the housing is in Turkey. Another thing is, the final point or the final reality is, if you want to live close to the city area or the main city area, you can live in one area of Turkey without having to go to like Shishli. Let's say for example you live in Beylikdüzü, you can stay there for, people can, not me, I can't stay in one location for a long time, but anyways, people can stay in Beylikdüzü for months without without even visiting like Shishli. So that's the thing with living in Istanbul, you can get everything you want in a particular area and you don't have to go somewhere else to get it. But that's the tricky thing. But if you want to live in the city area where there are tourists, where there are foreigners, where there are like-minded people, the houses there might be old or more expensive if you get a newer apartment. If you live in Bahçeşehir, for example, a 1+1 might be 4,000 Turkish lira. And then if you now live on the Asian side, I don't really know places in the Asian side, a 1+1 might be 5,000 to 6,000 Turkish lira. And then if you live in Bomonti or in Maslak, a 1+1 in an apartment residence might be up to 7,000 to 8,000 Turkish lira. So it just depends on how closer you are to like the city area, to the area where people live. And I don't know how to explain it, but there's a way it is. If you're in Turkey, you know what I mean. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to get you ready. I'm not saying, oh, it's very difficult to find an apartment, or they don't give apartment to foreigners. They do give. Sometimes they ask you for 1 year rent shamelessly, like you own the bank, and sometimes they want 6 months, or they tell you outright, we don't give to foreigners, or they ask you what your job is. This is a sequence, like literally the first agent you message will tell you, oh, I don't give to foreigners. The second one will ask you, what do? You tell them what you do, then they ask you if you have a guarantor. If you say no, they stop replying you. Then you message someone else, they ask you, what do you do? Do you have a guarantor? If you say no, you're just new, maybe this one wants to try and give you the house, they ask you, can you pay 6 months rent? And it's just like, I am just moving to a new country. I don't know if people think the cost of moving is cheap, like especially for someone who just moved into a country. Like yes, you're supposed to have a particular amount of money on you, but if you're also renting an unfurnished apartment, you have to buy furniture, you have to pay bills, you have to do this, you have to settle down, you have to understand your life. So them just wanting 6 months rent, mind you, I'm not talking to people that can afford it. I'm talking to people that cannot necessarily afford to pay a huge sum of money at once. Okay, let's be guided here. Thank you. I've been receiving so many DMs of people saying they're coming to Turkey, and obviously I know you guys are going to be looking for an apartment, so I wanted you guys to know and be aware that this is the reality of looking for an apartment in Turkey, and this is what you should expect, because sometimes you might get lucky, sometimes it might be less stressful, but sometimes people might move mad. Good luck in finding apartments, good luck in finding the apartment you like. The good side or the pro on it is you're definitely going to still find an apartment, but at the end of the day, do not settle for what you're not comfortable with, because you're going to eventually find what you're going to be comfortable with. So if you're coming to Turkey and you know you do not know anyone, or you're probably going to be staying in a hotel, I would suggest you have money for the hotel for about 2 weeks, because that's how long it might take in order to get a good apartment in Turkey that you would like. But if you're looking for any normal apartment, or you just really don't care about where you stay, then it will be much more easier for you to find an apartment. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, or I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to someone. If you know anyone coming to Turkey looking for an apartment, please share this video with them. It might be useful to them, and if you know someone who lives in Turkey as well, it might be useful to them as well. So if you're someone who is really into real estate in Turkey, please contact me so I know I can refer you to people that ask me about apartments in Turkey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what other video you guys would like me to share with you guys, and I'll definitely make my research and share with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.